welcome back! Today is actually going to be our last build of the ABC Build Challenge. As you can see, I got started ahead of time because math is hard and figuring out the shape of this was incredibly difficult, but today our letter is R and we are building a racetrack. Part of the reason why this one ended up being last is because I was trying desperately to find any kind of like deco sims that I could use as like jockeys, because yes, I could build a racetrack with no horses running around, but that's kind of boring. But in the end, I just couldn't find anything, and I know people say creating is easy. I don't know. Creators are amazing and magic, and I am not among them. So yeah, I had to come up with kind of what I was going to do instead. Initially I was like, oh well, I'll build the empty track, the horses will be in the stables, it'll be fine. But I happened to be reading the Wikipedia page for horse racing, just trying to see, like, in general, when it even really started to become a thing. And, like, the horse racing that we think of today is fairly modern. The oldest example was from ancient Greek, Roman, and Byzantine sports. They had chariot racing. Chariot racing is basically horses pull in a chariot, usually two, sometimes one. They did have mounted horse racing as well in the ancient Greek Olympics, but there just really wasn't much detail in regards to what that all entailed. Because I was thinking maybe I could do like a straight track instead when I was struggling hardcore with this not circular track that we ended up with. But I also saw that there was, from the mid-15th century, a spring carnival in Rome where they had a closed horse race essentially. So there was 15 to 20 riderless horses. They a lot of times were imported from the Barbary coast of North Africa, and they were set loose to run the length of the Via del Corso, which was a long straight city street. The time was about 2.5 minutes. And I was intrigued by this, because I was like, well, I can work with riderless horses. Let's just go with that. So that's where the inspiration for this came from. Obviously, I'm mixing up a lot of different things, but the idea is there are riderless horses that run in a circle. Probably a loud noise spooks them and gets them started. Maybe they run in the circle a couple times. I don't know. But the point is, I could justify riderless horses in my brain, and it was serendipitous because, like I said, the struggle was real. I didn't know what to do. And it's the last one, so I didn't want it to be terrible. Although, spoiler alert, it's not completely finished. I wanted to include, is it Bon Voyage for Sims 2? The vacation pack? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. There's too many Sims games. But I wanted to include, like, the little things where you sit down and you can get, like, flapjacks, or you can get the Tikmizu food, or you can get the Twiki Island food. Like, you can get all of those, but I had hiders in place, which I forgot. So it's not finished only because I want those to be on the second story, but it's not a huge deal. The racetrack part is finished. I just wanted to make sure there was places for food. Once those were put in, I was going to put in some bathrooms, but it's just minor things. You don't need those to see what this lot's going to look like. The building itself in the center of the circle is fairly plain. I wanted to make sure there were stands. I wanted to make sure that there were a couple stories of stands, since I didn't want to play with platforms. And I also wanted to make sure that there was like stables, so you could, put the horses in the stables. Yeah, I'm honestly really happy with how this turned out. I wasn't sure, like I said, I saved it to last because I was just like, I don't know what to do, but yeah, I like it. The horses are completely decorative. They're not the sun and moon horses. They're the ones that, the same models are used for the sun and moon horses, but these ones don't need food or water, so they're fine. And yeah, I have a lot of poses for them. I don't get to use them as often as I would like, or probably as often as I should. The roof, initially there wasn't actually going to be a second floor. I was like, nah, I don't need one. But then I realized that the roofing would be difficult if there wasn't. So I was like, we're just going to make this easy. It's gonna be a big box. Would have been cool if I could have done that though, with the walls. Nah, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. I know I've been talking about my Halloween movie things that I've been watching while going through this. Poltergeist was another one that I'd actually seen Poltergeist, but it's been so long that I genuinely didn't remember it. And that was one that I watched the other day, and yeah, no, I would have been noping out of that situation so quick. The second that little kid said they're here, I'd be like, we're leaving. We're getting out. We're probably leaving her behind because she's creeping me out now, but, you know, to each his own. I was actually really surprised by the family in that movie too, because they were just so normal. Like, a lot of families in media are not portrayed how families actually are. They usually either go over the top, or it's just too, like, fake cookie cuttery. Whereas meanwhile, you have these parents that, yeah, they're getting stowed in their room, they're messing around, they're jumping on the bed, they're being silly. The kids are, like, picking on each other, but not, like, hardcore, witty bullying, which, it annoys me when that happens in media, because I'm like, as someone who was also that age at one point, I was not witty. I did not have clever comebacks. Every now and then I'd say a zinger. But really, for the most part, no. Your brain is not grown. So it annoys me. But the Poltergeist family was not like that. It was interesting. And they also, again, like these older horror movies, no desire to explain really anything that's happening. They kind of explained it a little bit, but like, not really. I'm like, alright, this is happening. Okay, but this is happening now. We're just going to add a new character. No, we're not going to give you her backstory. We're just going to add her. That's it. It was great. It was fantastic. Like, I kind of think that movies should go back to that a little bit. Because I think I've been watching a lot of the modern ones, and then towards the end of the month I usually save older ones. Like, this year was Addams Family. Things like that, just for myself, because I like the older ones, and I know I have a bias towards them because I saw them originally when they came out, so, or when I was very young, so there's a bias there. At the same time, like, all the modern ones, it's just so bogged down by explanations that you just, it takes away from it, and it's very annoying. You're always going to have somebody who's going to explain, oh, old man Jenkins, da 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 da. No. How about you just scare me and don't explain it? Because that's almost scarier. You're like, why is this happening? And I get that people then say, well, that's not realistic. Yeah, no, life's not realistic. That's a ghost. Like, you're going to say that's realistic? I don't know. Ever since I watched Hellraiser, like, I'm on this kick of, like, no explanations. None. I don't want anything. I don't want to know what's happening. As an aside to what's actually happening in the video, you can see I'm incredibly frustrated that the doors that I want to use don't fit. The little barn door arches, and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not rebuilding it again. At this point, I rebuilt it like 7 times. Just like, no, 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 it's gonna be like this. It's fine. Because sometimes you just have to accept that this is The Sims 2, and it is not here to make your life easier. It's just about the only thing about Sims 4 that is far superior is the click and drag. Like, Sims 4, you win at that. You win. That's probably the only thing that you win. As another aside, I don't think I'm gonna buy The Sims 5. And it feels so weird and wrong. But I just... It seems like it's leaning into the whole multiplayer thing. Which, plenty of people have already said it, but I'm gonna say it too. Like, I don't know any Sims players that have asked for a multiplayer Sims game. Ever. Ever. Like, there's mods to do some things multiplayer, but for the most part, no. It's a very solo activity. Like, I don't understand why they think that we want to collaborate in that way. Like, I just don't get it. And also the weird mod platform where it skeeves me out because all I think about is Tumblr and how they had to remove a bunch of content to stay in the Play Store. Well, if The Sims 5 is on the Play Store, are mods going to suddenly not be allowed that are not through that mod platform, and the mod platform's going to limit what you can do? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like it, though. Yeah. Sorry for that little hiccup there. I realized I had not sped up the video. And so I was like, everything's going kind of slow as I record this, but no, I'm just an idiot. And I could re-record all of the nonsense that I just said, but I am a trash fire, and by now you know that. It's fine. Once again, I'm frustrated upstairs because I couldn't put that fireplace because it didn't fit, but I was like, forget it. I do manage to put up one of the other parts that I wanted here because I have these, they're like edible little pastry things, like that cottage pie. There's like some tarts and things, and I wanted those to be here because it feels like if you're going to be eating at the racetrack, it's got to be something like that's in your hand. I did put some turkey legs and things down. I ended up deleting those later, but yeah, I definitely wanted the little hand pies because I wanted to make sure my Sims could eat. And like I said, I'm going to put bathrooms. I'm also going to put in one or two of those other little, I think it's Bon Voyage things where you can try out the new foods. Because I think that there's defaults for them. If there's not, I'll figure something out, but I'm pretty sure there is. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, are there defaults? I don't know. It's just a lot of those items, like, I have hiders for them because they're not medieval and they don't fit, but like, they have a lot of unique interactions tied to them, so, or like, things tied to them, so it's just like, but I do want, like, the ant farm. Your Sim can go and interact with it, like, they can shake it, they can, like, they can do stuff with it, but it doesn't look medieval at all, so it's like taking away gameplay aspects just because it doesn't suit my needs, so, yeah. It's sad. That's the life of a historical simmer. You kind of pick and choose, like, what you're willing to live with, which is why the Adiron is 100%, I say, fantasy, pure and simple, because I let myself get away with a lot more when I just say, oh, it's just fantasy, it's fine. Side note, most of these stupid little pie things didn't want to go on any of the shelves, and I was very, very aggravated about it. But I found these. They work out, they're fine. They weren't what I wanted, but they are what works. That said, I am probably going to have Art Blumenthal buy some of these lots just so that I can have them function the way that I want them to. But, we'll see. I just wish if things like were on shelves like this, you could buy them and it didn't matter and didn't have to be owned, but whatever. Anyways, we're about to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thank you so much for joining me. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking early, mostly because I didn't realize this video was 13 minutes long and I'm an idiot. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.